You grab your keys, maybe you pick up your bag, and somewhere across the room, your dog's head lifts. They were sleeping a moment ago, completely still. But now their eyes are open, tracking every move you make. You put on your shoes. They sit up. You walk toward the door. They follow. And right before you leave, they just stand there, watching you. Not barking, not jumping, just watching. With an expression you've seen 100 times but never quite understood. The door closes, and on the other side of it, your dog is left alone with something you never get to witness. Most owners assume their dog shakes it off in a few minutes, finds a toy, falls back asleep, moves on. But the truth is something very different. And once you understand what's actually happening inside your dog's mind the moment you leave, you will never look at that goodbye the same way again. Most people believe that dogs live entirely in the present moment, that they don't carry the weight of time the way humans do. And in some ways, that's true. But what that belief often leads to is a quiet assumption that when you leave, your dog simply waits, passively, without much emotional complexity. The reality that behavioral science has been uncovering over the past few decades is far more layered than that. Dogs don't just wait for you. They process your absence. They respond to it emotionally, neurologically, physically. And the way they experience that separation is rooted in something ancient, something that runs deeper than the relationship between pet and owner. There's something happening in that moment you leave that most dog owners never fully realize. 1. The scent search that starts the moment you're gone. Have you ever come home to find your dog had been lying on your clothes, your pillow, your side of the couch, and wondered why? It isn't random comfort seeking. Behavioral researchers studying canine cognition have observed that dogs actively seek out scent as a coping response to separation. Your dog's sense of smell is estimated to be tens of thousands of times more sensitive than a human's. And your scent, your specific individual scent, is one of the most powerful emotional anchors in your dog's entire world. The moment you leave, that scent begins to fade. And your dog knows it. From an evolutionary perspective, scent was how wild canids tracked their pack members. Knowing where your group was, whether they were nearby or gone, was tied directly to survival. That instinct never left. It simply redirected. In a domestic dog, your scent isn't just familiar, it's safety. It's the chemical signal that says, my person is here, my world is intact. When that signal starts to disappear, your dog doesn't shrug and move on. They go looking for it. Your jacket on the floor, your unwashed blanket, the cushion where you sat last night. They press their nose into these objects not out of habit, but out of something that functions very much like need. 2. The time perception that makes every hour feel different. Here's where it gets more complex. Dogs don't experience time the way we do, but they do experience it. Studies on animal cognition suggest that dogs can distinguish between short absences and long ones based on physiological cues, heart rate, hormonal response, and the intensity of their greeting behavior when you return. The longer you're gone, the more elevated their reunion response becomes. This points to something real happening in the brain during your absence, not just waiting, processing. From an evolutionary standpoint, in a pack structure, a prolonged absence of a key member signaled something uncertain, something potentially dangerous. Your dog carries that ancient anxiety in their biology. And when you've been gone for hours, that low-level tension has been quietly building the entire time. This is the part most people miss. When your dog explodes with excitement the moment you walk back through that door, owners often interpret it as simple happiness. And it is joy. But underneath that joy is something else entirely. It's relief. The resolution of a tension that started the moment the door closed behind you. 3. The emotional loop. They can't break. If you're starting to see your dog a little differently right now, hit like and subscribe. There's still more to this that goes even deeper. Dogs who are strongly bonded to their owners don't simply wait during separation. They cycle. Behavioral researchers observing dogs left alone through video monitoring have documented a pattern that repeats over and over: restlessness near the door, settling, then rising again, a soft whine, another, settling, walking the space, returning to your scent, lying down again. This cycle isn't anxiety in the clinical sense for every dog, but it is an emotional loop, a brain that keeps returning to the same question without being able to answer it. Where did my person go? When are they coming back? And here's what makes this truly affecting. Dogs have no concept of, "I'll be back in 3 hours." They cannot comfort themselves with that knowledge the way a human child eventually learns to. Every departure, at some level, holds a degree of open-ended uncertainty for them. The oxytocin bond, the same bonding hormone present in human attachment, is measurably elevated in dogs who have strong relationships with their owners. And elevated oxytocin creates elevated emotional response to separation. In other words, the more deeply your dog loves you, the more acutely they feel your absence. 4. The behavior owners. Most often misunderstand. This is where many owners unintentionally cause more pain than they realize. The dog who follows you room to room before you leave. The one who paces near the door. The one who suddenly becomes restless when they see you reaching for your keys. These dogs are often labeled clingy or anxious, and owners sometimes respond by pulling away early. Less eye contact before leaving, shorter goodbyes, a kind of emotional withdrawal meant to reduce the dog's attachment. But behavioral science tells a different story. Studies on secure attachment in dogs mirror what's been found in human infant research. Dogs who have secure, responsive bonds with their owners actually handle separation better than those who are kept at emotional distance. The dog who gets a calm, warm acknowledgement before you leave, not a dramatic, guilt-laden goodbye. But a quiet, reassuring moment tends to settle faster once you're gone. Ignoring your dog before you leave doesn't reduce their attachment, it simply removes the reassurance, and they step into that silence with nothing to anchor them. What happens in the quiet hours? After the restlessness slows, after the door has been sniffed and left behind, after the scent objects have been found and rested near, your dog does something that, when you truly understand it, is one of the most quietly heartbreaking and beautiful things in the entire human-animal relationship. They wait. Not passively, not blankly. They wait with a kind of faithful, patient devotion that has no language but is unmistakably present. Pack animals evolved with the understanding that separation is temporary, that the group returns. And so your dog carries that belief without being able to rationalize it, without being certain of it, and they hold it quietly through every hour you're gone. Behavioral researchers have noted that dogs near the end of a typical owner's absence will often increase their activity near the door before the owner actually arrives home. Not because they heard a car, but because they've learned your rhythm, your pattern, and their body begins preparing for your return based on something as subtle as the time of day. They learn you deeply, completely, and they hold that knowledge like something precious. And when you finally walk through that door, that moment they rush toward you isn't just excitement, it is the end of something they've been carrying. The reunion your dog feels when they see your face is one of the most neurologically significant events in their day. Oxytocin spikes, stress hormones drop, the emotional loop resolves. Their world, which had been quietly off balance since the moment you left, rights itself. They press against you. They lick your hands, they spin in circles or stand very still, pressing their side into your leg like they're reminding themselves you're real. Because to them, you are not just a person they live with. You are the center of their emotional universe, the signal that everything is safe, the scent that means home. And they spend every hour you're gone simply waiting for that world to return. So the next time you reach for your keys and see that expression on their face, that quiet, watchful stillness, understand what it means. It isn't just a dog being a dog. It is one of the most loyal, wordless expressions of love in the natural world. And it starts the moment the door closes behind you.